afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Great, thanks for asking. How did Franz get through that game last night, and just in terms of how his ankle feels and all that stuff?
Yeah, he said he felt good. I think obviously he's still going to feel it, but I think for the most part he feels pretty good.
How did Paolo come up? Sounded like he jammed his right.
Yeah, I think that ball got spiked towards his finger. I think just being a jammed finger as of right now. Yeah.
What was the focus of practice today? What do you think it is?
Film session, just cleaning up the things that we, playing these guys again tomorrow. It's important that you clean up the mistakes that you made in the game last night. Some of the adjustments that they could find throughout the game. Shooting the basketball was a big piece, but also getting back down to our fundamental parts on defense that we need to continue to hone in on.
Wendell was a lot other injury the other day yesterday. How's Wendell doing after that game?
He's okay. He's definitely okay.
With that center position, Wendell's been pretty solid, but they've had some down rebounding games, had some games where he struggles a little bit. What do you want to see from that center position, and how can other teammates kind of help him kind of boost what he does and help support him?
Yeah, I think the one thing Wendell's been is he's been consistent and available. I think that says a lot. First and foremost is that he's been available for us this year. The second piece is, for him, it's just continuing to do the little small dirty work things that, a lot of guys don't get credit for. It is getting the 50-50 rebound. It is boxing one of the big centers out so our guards can follow up and get the rebound. All those little small pieces. And those guys do a great job of communicating with one another, the things that they see when they're on the floor, and adjustments that they can make as the games are going on.
Given the physicality that Wendell plays with and all the punishment he absorbs and dishes out, how impressive is it that he has been as durable as he's been?
This is the first time he's done, this, to this point. So I really do believe it's great for him, the way he's taking care of his body this summer, the amount of, hits and physicality that he does face on a nightly basis. It says a lot about him and the way he's concentrating on just making sure he takes it one game at a time, just making sure he's available for his team.
Doc said last night you guys were the more physical team. How do you bring that physicality again tomorrow night?
Just repeat it. You watch the film, know the things that got you where you were for that game, and understand the things that you got to clean up. And I think it's just a mindset more than anything. Can you win the 50-50 battles? Can you be physical without fouling? Can you impose your will on a game, like last night? And can you repeat it? And it's a lot of that. It becomes down to the mindset piece.
With that mind. With that mindset piece, how do you guard against looking head to the break? I'm sure everyone is looking a little bit forward to the break, but just the one game at a time. How do you kind of guard against that mindset and make sure you take care of your business?
Yeah, that's all you have to say. That's the reality of it. There's no way around it. You say you take care of home tomorrow night, which we said we want to do, and you focus on the one game. It's an opponent that you're going to play for the second time, and they're going to be ready and prepared for you. So you got to know the adjustments you need to make, but focus on the one game and one game only.
Back to the last 3 games, obviously all wins, but very different styles of wins. And I know we talk about finding the wins, but are there commonalities that you see in terms of building blocks of each game that have led to the 3 game wins?
Yeah, last night I think a lot of it was, you talk about that third quarter, and each one of those games we've had a quarter where we've been able to break out, whether that's been, 35 to 20, 43 to 23, whatever the case may be. You have a big defensive quarter, and the offensive number looks great, but it is because the defense sparked it. So the common piece in all those wins has been we've put together 1 or 2 quarters that has been very special, and knowing what we're capable of doing on the defensive end, that creates our offense.
As a follow-up to that, what do you feel like are still maybe the biggest things that are preventing it from being a game-to-game versus the quarter-to-quarter?
I think you take it one possession at a time, not letting the runs get away from you. I think that's a big key for us as well. And the opponents are different, so the style of play is going to be different for each opponent, so it's going to look different. Some teams are playing faster, some teams are playing in the half court, but what we do has to stay consistent, and I think that is why you can always hone in on the defensive end when the shot's not falling like it wasn't last night.
I'm not sure if I heard you correctly. When you were saying looking at the shooting, was that in relation to just getting out here onto the floor and taking shots, or off the film?
What do you? Can you repeat the question?
Okay. You said you looked at the shooting today, correct? Was that off of film?
Both.
When you review film, what can that tell you about shooting mechanics, as opposed, or maybe you also meant getting good shots?
Getting good shots is what I meant more than anything. Our shot quality last night was the highest it had been for us all year. We generated a ton, and I think a lot of that started from the way we were able to get downhill, attack the paint, touch the paint, force spray out threes. That's what we talk about. And then when you get on the floor, you go and work on those same shots from those same areas that you may have missed from the night before, but you go with it at the same speed, same clip that you would in a game.
When the team starts 3 for 20 from 3, how much of that is maybe passes being off target or not in rhythm, or how much of it is just the randomness of basketball?
Yeah, I think it's just the randomness of basketball. I think we got a lot of great open looks. I mean, we watched a couple of Wendell's open ones. We talked, Desmond had a couple open ones. Tristan had open ones. Everybody had an open shot at some point last night. And I think that's just, I'm proud of our guys for not letting that discourage them from how we continue to play defense. And that's a big key for us moving forward.
Thanks for being here.
Of course. Appreciate y'all.
Wendell, how are you feeling after last night? You came up with some left ankle soreness before the game, but
Man, just trying to get this team everything I got. I've been struggling a little bit offensively, but I've been just trying to find ways to affect the game, control what I can control, be a good defender, being able to switch 1 through 5. I'm doing a lot of that these last couple of games, so just being able to get this team what I got, and I know that I can bring every night. That's my effort. Knowing the offense is going to come back around, I'm not too worried about it, but, like you said, I had a little left ankle soreness. These are the most games I've played going into All-Star break, so that's probably one of the reasons for that. But, I'm here, and I just want to do whatever I can to help this team win.
Knocking on wood, what does it mean to hit that feat? I know last year you played career high in games too, but what does it mean to be able to be this consistent and be available for this team?
That was always one of my biggest flaws before signing my first extension. That was always the conversation being had, that is he able to be available for most of the season. So, I've taken the necessary steps in terms of taking care of my body, mind, and soul, just to be prepared for this moment. Understanding that it's not going to be perfect games. I'm going to be beat up, I'm going to be tired, whatever the case may be. But like you said, this is my first time ever being in this position, so it's different, but I'm loving it. That's definitely something I want to get used to for sure going forward.
When you say that was always the conversation, do you mean the conversation at large, like on the internet, or do you mean with the actual team officials and all that stuff?
All around. I think it was just a mixture of everything, including myself. Shit, I'm just looking at it like all these guys are, I'm looking across the league, guys are playing, 65 plus games a year, and I'm stuck at around 50 to 40, and it's not you don't really get a good, comfortable feel for the kind of player that you are, not being able to play most of the season, and then just like I was saying before, I just like to be available for my team, no matter what it is. If it's on both ends of the court, just being available. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, when you're playing more games like that, is it more taxing physically or mentally? Because I imagine both have their share of challenges.
Oh, definitely both. In my opinion, I think it's more mental. You expect your body to feel good. You expect you to be perfect. I'm one of those guys. I want to be sometimes I get a little too hard on myself, trying to be too perfect for this perfect on both ends of the court. It's definitely, I think it's more of a mental game than anything. I've passed the physical aspect of it in terms of actual injuries. Now it's just about diving into the mental aspect of it, of just understanding that some nights is not your night. That's what happens in an 82-game season. Can't expect to be a perfect player of all 82, but just being able to control what you can control, like I was saying before, defense, effort, those two things are definitely something I just want to be able to stay consistent throughout the whole season.
Wendell, you talked about controlling what you can control personally, which is your effort, right, your defense. When you talk about the team coming into this homestand, there was questions about those control overs, the defense, the effort. Yeah. How do you feel like maybe as a group you've talked about taking accountability for those things, and how has it played out?
I think it first started with just looking at the man in the mirror, for each guy. As humans, human nature, It's an offensive-driven league. Everybody wants to do good offensively, including myself. And sometimes we fall into that aspect of when it's not going our way offensively, we allow it to affect our effort. We allow it to affect our defense. We allow it to affect us getting back. And that's something that, as a fairly young team, that we have to do a better job of, including myself. I fall into that sometimes, and I try to get myself out of it in those moments, but that's something that we just got to do a better job of. And I think we've taken those steps, these last two or three games, but it's definitely another level we can get to. Getting guys like Franz back, Mose been back, been playing really well, so I think that is something that can help us, push take that necessary step, especially going to the back end of the season.
How important have the last 3 games to kind of reestablishing that defense? And at least by the numbers, you guys have had 3 really strong defensive performances in these last wins. Obviously, you've had these really brilliant quarters. How important has it been to establishing that confidence?
In terms of defensively?
Just defensively,
yeah. Yeah, I think it's important. Like I was saying before, those are the things you can control. Some nights we're going to be shooting the best from the field or shooting 40% from 3, whatever the case may be. And some nights it's not going to be that. Some nights, the ball is going in and out. You can't, that's something that you can't control. The work that you put in, but the things that you can control, we just got to continue to control those things and not allow other aspects, outside noise, whatever the case may be, allow it to affect our effort and our approach to the game.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Take away from last night's game, obviously you face the Bucks again tomorrow night. What was the reaction from last night watching the film?
We actually had a good defensive game. I don't think I've seen us defend like that for a long time now. They made a lot of big shots from 2, which is what we want to allow. Tight paint, impacted 3s, so I think we have to stay focused on that and expect a reaction from them tomorrow. And I think they had 7 fast break points, so we have to stay focused on that also because we know they want to play fast, find shooters open early in the possession. So yeah, tomorrow definitely we'll have to be extra focused on what they didn't do well and try to keep them under their average.
Does it feel like the defense is starting to kind of find its rhythm again? The last 3 games you guys have put together, these, by the numbers, a good defensive performance. So does it feel like you guys are starting to find a groove on that?
Yeah, I mean, if the numbers say it, I think the numbers don't lie. Yeah, we start to acclimate to what we are asking defense. Coaches do a good job of keep trying to push us on being focused on the defensive scheme, so that's good, and we have to keep working on that.
How do you think you've adjusted? You guys practice today, but you don't practice often. How do you think you've adjusted to just trying to learn more from watching film throughout the season as opposed to getting on the practice court as often as you might have in the past?
I think if somebody tells you something every day for 6 months, at one point eventually you'll start to understand what they ask. So it's different from what I've experienced in the beginning of my career, but I think it's just a different way to work, and that's also good to do like that. It saves some legs for the game day, and that's a good way to learn.
I'm just curious, Noah, how well, if at all, do you know Alex Sarr?
That's my brother. We've been doing French national team for a couple of years together, the younger categories, and we stay in touch. I follow his career since he got drafted, and even before when he was in Madrid and Australia. So that's just my brother. I have a lot of former teammates that have become more than just teammates, and I'm just very happy for him and very happy to see how his career is evolving.
When you see him play this year, what impresses you most about the way he's playing and the strides he's made?
I want to say the confidence, because I think he always had the skills to become a great player, but what was the difference for him and the other players was that he always trusted him before everything and anything. He believed in his work and believed that he can be a special player, and I think that's the most important point. Any great player has utmost confidence in themselves, and that's a thing that you can never take away from him.
What did you make of Jace going to the dunk contest? And do you have any advice for him and expectations for him?
If I have any advice on how to dunk, not at all. That's really not my stuff. He a way better dunker than me. I don't think there's advice. I said just go enjoy, and I'm gonna be there to cheer for you, and that's it.
How important is Wendell then to this team, kind of establishing the defense space and even maybe like helping you just the league and get final points?
I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's doing on the court. I see a lot of people criticize who he is as a player, and I just don't understand sometimes, and I think people just don't know what he's asked to do, and I think he's one of the best in the league in what he's asked to do. Defensively, it's just, it's like you got those players when they're on the court, you're just reassured of how the defense gonna go because they're on the court, and I think he's just one of these players. And after offensively, he's just working on him. I think he's having a good year, and he just have to keep trusting his work, and everybody believes in him in here, and me too, so it's great.